Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Film Frauds. To myself, Matt, and my co-hosts, Mark
Hello.
and Tyler,
Hello.
providing completely unprofessional, 100% biased opinions on the movies of today, tomorrow, and yesteryear. Today, we're talking about Wonder Woman 1984, which is about Wonder Woman in 1984, and she has to fight Pedro Pascal, and that's basically the plot. That's all you need to know. So just to start the video, we're gonna go full on spoilers for the first Wonder Woman and this one. Do you guys just want to give like general thoughts, non-spoiler thoughts about what we thought of the movie first, or you just want to jump right into spoilers?
Like a first impressions, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. So I thought it was bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, great. Video over. Nice seeing you guys. See you next week.
See you guys. Oh, do you want to elaborate, Matt, or should I keep going?
I mean, just everything pretty much failed.
Yeah.
Like with the first, like I'm not. So the first movie has very positive reviews, and even from like outlets I respect, like Red Letter Media really liked the first movie, and I was like, what?
Uh-huh.
I remember like I saw it with D. Tyler, and it was the movie that almost made him poop his pants, or did make him poop his pants, depending on who you believe.
I almost did.
And like with the first one, like Chris Pine is like keeping this movie together with duct tape, basically. He's the best part of both movies. I would say I like the first movie more because there's a little more grit to it, and I liked how the World War I setting like actually mattered to the plot. Here, like I feel like this movie could have taken place in any time period, it just wouldn't have mattered. And I, with the blockbusters, with it being up in the air, like what state movie theaters will be in, like after post-COVID, like this movie does no favors to the idea that blockbusters is better in theaters, because I had to watch the movie in two sittings because I was not into it at all, and I'm so glad I got to watch it at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark, what did you think of Wonder Woman 1984?
I found the first 30 minutes tolerable. I sort of got the same feel from the first 30 minutes of 1984. I sort of got the same feeling I got from Shazam. I don't know if you guys have seen Shazam.
I watched it on an airplane.
You know how that movie's like, it's good, but it's like we're obviously not the audience that is expected. It's like very cheesy, and it's kind of like sort of like leans into that cheesiness, and it's like sort of more focused on like, you know, a kid audience. That's what the first 30 minutes of Wonder Woman felt like. I was like, this is made for like children, it felt like. And I was like, it's good for what it is. That's basically what I thought. And then as Kristen Wiig's character is introduced, and Maxwell Lord, and it just like completely goes off the rails. And by the time the movie finished, I was bored out of my mind. And I also, it's sort of like with Jordan Peele's Us, where like if you think too hard about the plot, it completely starts to dissolve.
Yeah.
You know?
There was definitely like by the end, I was like, I have no idea what's going on, but not in like a Kubrick, like my mind's blown kind of way, but in like this plot clearly makes no sense.
Yeah, if you really think about it, yeah.
But yeah, Tyler, what are your general impressions?
So I was really like intrigued by this movie because before it came out, like this was Christmas Eve. I looked on Letterboxd and it had a 3.6 out of 5, and I was like, dope, you know.
Does it really?
Let me get to
anymore.
that.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, because I clearly don't want to go in. I never want to go into a movie immediately wanting to like dog on it and thinking like, yeah, this is gonna suck. It's like, cool, 3.6. It might actually be pretty good. And then after it was released for HBO Max, and when I went down to sit and watch it on Christmas, it was at a 3.3. I'm like, you know, a little bit of variance. More people watched it because it has a large general public. And then now recording it has a 2.8. And I have never in like Letterboxd. Yeah, I was surprised at how high it was on the twos, but it's like I've never seen like a downswing like that. And it might be access to the sheer number of people who are able to watch it at once. It was just kind of critics and screeners, and now it's like the general public. But that I feel like is very interesting. But in terms of kind of like general opinions, I wrote out 2 pages of notes for this movie, and the more I wrote out, the more I realized I didn't really like this movie. Because I could give it a little bit of pass. Like, I kind of really love Pedro Pascal in this movie. Like, he's just hamming it up, and he's having the time of his life. His character makes no sense. But this movie is, the best way to put it is it just feels off. It feels like a lot of the passion and creativity that was in the first Wonder Woman, and you can vary on your opinion of that, is completely stripped in this one for no characters, a general kind of like comic book Hollywood plot, and just like inconsistencies and things that just don't make any sense. And the one thing that really stood out to me this time is this movie is titled Wonder Woman 1984, but has little to do with Wonder Woman or Diana. It has like legitimately like no character arc for her in this movie. It has shockingly little.
Learn to not wish for things.
But like,
don't take the shortcut and learn how to fly places.
Yeah, learn how to. But Mark and I were talking before, and Mark, you said that she ends up at the exact same place she starts as in this movie, except now she can fly and like turn things invisible too.
I thought she did that in the first movie too, so I was so confused as to why.
Where she like can fly? No, because she can't do it in like Justice League or Batman vs Superman. But that's just like a little inconsistency. But what I really like
Tyler's
about
a really Snyder Cut kind of guy, so he was very upset by that. He's like,
yeah,
what's the continuity of?
I'm like, she can't fly. Why do none of the Batmans? Why do none of the Batmans look the same in all the different movies? It just doesn't make any sense.
This stuff matters.
So, I'm completely distracted now. This movie, there's so much to this. This movie has no good characters, and it's really weird. It's somehow longer, with more stuff happening, but of less substance than the first one. It doesn't make any sense.
Can we go into characters first? Because I have something I need to say.
Yeah.
So we're in spoilers now. Clearly, we don't recommend the movie.
Yeah.
But the moment Kristen Wiig shows on screen, I'm like, I know exactly where this is going, and I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like she's like bumbling down. She can't walk in high heels, and she's gonna have her friend Wonder Woman, and then somehow she's gonna feel betrayed by her, and she's gonna want superpowers, and then it's gonna use superpowers for evil. Yep. I mean, it was already perfected with Jamie Foxx, Amazing Spider-Man 2, so why would you even bother to do it again?
He's so cool in that movie.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is so much better than Spider-Man 2. It's like not even funny.
Oh, okay, funny. All right, you know what? We don't have enough time to go into this big debate about that.
But it's like I just see this, and it's like I like Kristen Wiig as an actress. I think she's funny, and she's hilarious in SNL, and I think that some of the more serious roles work. But she does not work as like an action star. Like when she's fighting people in this movie, it's the cringiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I was waiting for how the movie's logic would transform her into a cheetah. So I'm like, it's gonna do with the wishes, and it's gonna be the weirdest jump in logic. And it's of course, I want to be the apex predator. And
it's not even like there's no like subtlety. There's no subtlety. I want to be an apex predator. It's like I want to be tougher. She's like, make me a cheetah. Basically, is what
I want to be
says.
indestructible. Like
Bam. When she said I want to be an apex predator, the first thing that came to my mind was Chronicle, like Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, I am an apex predator. That movie's so much better than this.
Like her introduction of like her her like sort of being like this sort of quirky character, and like people are mean to her. Like that point where she drops her briefcase and her papers fall everywhere, and she's like, "Can someone help me?" And that guy's like, "Yeah, right." And then he like keeps walking. I was like,
yeah.
That's when I realized like this is for kids. This is for kids.
Yeah.
And
sorry, we're also jumping ahead a lot. Can we talk about the first like two scenes in this movie real quick? So the movie opens. I had to look up the name of the place because I forgot. The Mascara. So I actually like the first Wonder Woman movie. I don't mind the scenes where they're in the Mascara because I think the cinematography is decent in that place. I think there's like a nice sense of like world there. And in this one, it's like an obstacle course game that like defies the laws of like
sense. It
doesn't make any sense. Like how everyone's like cheering for like flags coming down. It's like you can't see anyone.
There's like a little girl competing with grown adults.
So there's the point where she's like running to throw the spear. I'm like, she's not gonna make that throw. I thought the point was gonna be like you have to like this isn't your time. She's gonna throw it or she's gonna like trip and fall, but instead she gets stopped. I was like, okay. But it's like weirdly like the cinematography is like ugly. It's like overly bright and exposed. All like the nice like blue colors from the first movie, like the blue and green mixing is just gone for like this weird like hued green. And it's just very odd. And then the lesson she learns is don't cheat or don't take shortcuts.
Yeah.
It's like, but then the lesson is never fully conveyed throughout the rest of the movie. Not really. So we have this like 5 to 8 minute scene of like nothing that plays any importance to it, which is important because this fucking movie is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah,
like,
and it does not need to be 2.5 hours long.
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
Like an hour 45 max.
Not even that. Like the first hour of this movie could have been 10 minutes. It could have been like Kristen Wiig.
The whole first scene, the whole Themyscira scene could have been cut out of the movie. It would have made no difference.
It would have no difference. Okay, and now I have another thing. The first scene where she's in the Wonder Woman like costume,
So
like
when they're in the mall, like
when they're in the
robbery.
mall, that felt like a reshoot.
Every action scene feels off in this movie.
I really want to touch on that.
I can't really pinpoint what's wrong. It just that scene just feels off.
Yep.
And then you have the scene where they're in the desert and they're doing the car chase and she's running like this and it's such a clear green screen.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't like I laughed out loud. There's a couple laugh out loud moments in this movie.
Yeah.
Which like I guess benefited because I don't think I laughed very much we laughed a ton during the first movie. We actually got like Town and I got a lot of glares in the first.
Yeah, we got mad. We're just like
people got mad at us because we weren't taking the movie seriously.
So I just want to go back to that mall scene for a second because that scene, I feel like one was a reshoot, and two, it's so tonally inconsistent with the rest of the movie that it feels like a different kind of like thing. It feels like it's like a trailer. Like it feels like they're like, okay, hey, look at this scene to go come into Wonder Woman, but it really is like, hey, remember who our target audience of this movie is supposed to be? It's kind of like one of those. Like she saves the girl and she like winks and she like throws her tiara and smashes all the cameras. And it's just like very campy. It's like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies where it's just like the overly schlocky kind of stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is this? And it's the only time they really use the 80s like set.
Yeah.
And it's just like outside of that and like the Steve Trevor like trying on different outfits. But I'm like, okay. I'm like, is this going to be the entire movie? I'm like, I can kind of get down with that. Like, sure, an overly campy 80s movie. Why not? Like, that can be fun. But then I remember it was 2.5 hours. I was like, this could get really old. But it feels like it's a reshoot because, one, the movie didn't have enough action. And two, because the movie doesn't feel like it plays to its target's audience anymore. Like, it's a baffling, like, first two scenes. It's like 15 minutes of the movie that doesn't go together, that starts off like it's tonally different between the two. One is a lesson about not cheating, and the other is this weirdly, like, oddly placed, like, action scene, and then you get to the full movie. So right there, if we take off those first two scenes, we're down to, like, 2 hours and 15, and that's slightly more manageable. What do you guys think about those first two?
Oh, I completely agree with you. I mean, it was just the opening scene was kind of cool. I mean, I was sort of invested in it because it was like, this is interesting. I wonder how this is going to, play out. And then the whole idea, as you said, of like don't take shortcuts. That's never actualized or realized throughout the rest of the film. And then you look back and you're like, what was that even there? And then same goes for that scene. I felt like sort of like what you just said. I know I'm just reiterating you, but it's like, I think some studio executive was like, this movie's about Wonder Woman and there's like 2 scenes where she's kicking ass. So we need to figure something out here.
Yep.
And so, I don't really know. Those scenes could be taken out. The movie would not have changed.
Yeah.
I just feel like things feel more quaint too. Like she's finding like these like low level criminals in the mall in this
level
and
1.
then you think
crooks.
of the first movie, she's fighting World War I soldiers.
Yeah.
And it feels off, and like there's like I laughed the scene where like the women are the fit women are like doing like stretches in front of these two, and this is like like staring at them. I'm like they would be freaked out. Like why wouldn't they just like walk away?
Yeah.
I'm like clearly they know they're there. But it's just I can't like pinpoint kind of. I don't really understand like action directing very well, or like directing in general very well, but it just feels weird. And I was thinking like, Joss Whedon's Justice League, the big Justice League.
Yeah. God damn it.
Like I was thinking of like the low angle shot of Gal Gadot like walking, and I'm like, and then there's this scene where like there's all these like chances where they could do like really like inappropriate shots. I'm like, man, if Joss Whedon was directing this movie, he'd have a field day.
Oh yeah, he'd be loving this.
Luckily, like Patty Jenkins, who's like a confident director, but like I was just thinking like, man, if this was in Joss Whedon's hands right now.
Well, it's like we wouldn't get past the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, no. But like it was just weird. I can't I can't really pinpoint. It just feels so like below Wonder Woman.
I can start where to pinpoint it. So Gal Gadot is very clearly like a very nice person based on
Gal Gadot.
Is it Gal Gadot? Gadot?
Gal Gadot.
Whatever.
Waiting for Gadot.
Waiting for Gadot. So she's very clearly like a very nice person. She does a lot of charity work. She does a lot of this kind of like social awareness stuff, ignoring the what's it called, the Imagine video, ignoring all that stupid stuff.
I'm Gal Gadot, and I'm pretty.
Yes,
and rich.
I'm pretty and rich
during a pandemic.
I actually wanted to. I have a point about that video in the pandemic at the end of this on my notes, but she's very clearly nice.
For that.
She somehow has gotten worse in between the two movies.
Especially in the dialogue scenes.
I had the exact. So she's like oddly really great when she has like her emotional goodbye to like Steve.
Yeah, that's the best scene in the movie.
She's just like you're a good actress. You can see it. She seems so uninterested in every single dialogue scene in this movie that it feels like you're like watching this and you're like, why do you seem bored? You seem.
Yeah. Maybe
and I was saying
was bad. I don't
know. It's a script bad, but I was looking at Letterboxd and there was like a number of reviews who were comparing her charisma and like her like ability as an actor to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, that could not be further from the fucking true. Arnold Schwarzenegger has like scene presence and like self-awareness and like charisma. And again, she's good in the emotional scenes, but she does not carry that same amount of weight. And there's a clear like acting like regression between the first movie and the second movie, that it's like she is not only outshined by like everyone, but even like Kristen Wiig, who I really like, who's given like a really weird performance, even is better than her. And she feels like it's just like our lead actress and our main character feels so like disconnected from this movie. And I wonder if that's where it can start. Like, this just feels weird. Like, it just feels like a weird experience. I don't know what you guys like. Did it seem weird to you guys?
There's so many levels of confusion for me during this film. I mean, I'm gonna touch on two now. One was when Steve was introduced again. I was so confused. I was like, "What? How did this guy just?"
That made no sense to me. I thought there was like I didn't even remember that he wished for him to come back. Like I didn't like connect the two together.
I didn't either. I was like,
the
was
fact
the
that
stone?
they're hooking up again. It's like that's a little sexual assault against the guy whose body he's overtaking. Like, why did he have to take over someone's body in the first place? It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it would have made so much more sense if Steve just materialized out of nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to change the point, but Tyler, you go.
I was going to say, the movie just it opens up a lot of like ethical ramifications about what happens with Steve.
Like this guy's going to like go back to normal. He's going to be like, he's going to be like, I have a family.
He woke up, he's like, my job. No, he got like in like fist fights. Like, do you wake up and he's like bruised to the bone? He's like, what happened to me? Yeah. Okay. Keep going, Mark.
And then the whole, the Rock or whatever.
The Rock is in this
movie?
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, doing the Rock Johnson. No, like the wishing stone or whatever. For the longest time, I thought it had read Diana's mind and then like gave her Steve. Like I was so confused. But later on in the film, you see that the Rock gives and the Rock takes, and it's an immediate transfer. But the Rock gives Steve, but slowly takes Diana's powers.
But I thought the Rock, I thought it's supposed to specify what it takes, because that's what Pedro Pascal's power were. He's like, I give and I take, but I take what I want. So but why does the stone choose her powers? It doesn't make.
Well, it takes what you want most.
She wants
that's what they said.
So she wants her powers the most,
or what you value the most, or what like.
But that doesn't go against her character. Her value the most is like established in the first one as being not like this super strong person, but like her like connection to humanity. It's like a very weird disconnect.
Well, she was ready to give that up, but she had to save the world. But like the matter of fact is just the logic of it, where it's like she slowly loses her powers, she slowly gets weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it, if we're following the logic for the rest of the film, she would have become weak immediately. Like she would be able to jump super high or run super fast or.
But
use
the plot doesn't
like,
need her to do that, Mark.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We need like this. Stupid. We need this weird investigation that like she goes and flies a jet and goes to Cairo. Okay, So I also have another point about the action scenes, Matt. There don't feel like natural progressions to the scenes. So I was thinking, when I was writing all my notes, I was trying to figure out how that action chase scene starts. And I could not for the life of me remember. So I went back and rewatched it. And it's basically just the walls come up, he runs away, and they're like driving, and they like buy a car, and they just happen to pass each other. Like, that's it. And it doesn't feel like a natural build-up to be like, oh, now here's like our first conflict with our main bad guy. It's just like they like run into each other, and they're like, well, I guess we have to fight now. Like, they're searching for him, and they just happen to come across him. It doesn't feel like a natural narrative progression. So when she's like flipping cars and like Steve Trevor, there's a funny clip going on like the internet right now of when Steve Trevor first gets on the tank, and there's like the person on the tank, but there's a little window right there shooting a gun out of the tank, and like Steve Trevor like kicks the gun, but there's a giant tank, and he's just shooting like a little like machine gun, and it's like, why wouldn't you shoot the tank? And that made me laugh. But the action scenes also feel like very like weightless. Like, she's like running and like bouncing, and there's no like oomph to any of her movement. It's just like, it just feels so like for a movie that was like, I watched it, I was like, it finally feels like I'm watching a movie that is meant to be in theaters on streaming. Kind of like the cinematography and stuff like that feels like it's a movie made for theaters. But then it just feels like no one cared about any of this. Like, I want to go more into depth, but like a lot of our going into depth would just be talking about the logical like fallacies of this movie.
Yeah.
And that ultimately would be kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't make sense.
Just to like sort of a small segue, do you think this will change HBO or Warner Brothers' idea of like releasing videos on streaming just due to the reception?
No, because this probably made a ton of people. I mean, I signed up for a free trial just to get this. That's a new member that they have. I mean, I don't think it changes anything. I think probably tons of people saw this, and based on the controversy and the access to it, like, I was talking to my mom, and she's just like, I would rather sit at home and watch it than go to the theaters. It's like, that basically solves a lot of the issues.
Like, I couldn't imagine having to sit through this movie in theaters for 2.5 hours. It would just it would have been ridiculous. I would have just been so
the reviews would have been worse.
Yeah.
What?
The reviews would have been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say like this would probably be the most bland movie I've seen all year if I hadn't already watched Black Hat. But
hey, we're not doing this again. We're separating ourselves from Black Hat.
Well, there's Black Hat moments in this film, so you won't be able to.
Oh, there's definite Black Hat moments in this film.
But yeah, like dissecting, like there's not much to dissect. It just be us saying, like, if we went like for each plot point doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
And it's like, and like just towards the end, the script takes so many like weird liberties. Like when, like Pedro Pascal is like president. Like he gets into a bunker and starts like speaking as the president. And then like he like goes up, shoots up in the air, and he's like somehow talking to his son. He's like, and the son like is just somehow like in the middle. He's like in like what's it called? When you're no man's land somehow, and then like all these missiles just fire, and it's just like, are you supposed to like? It's so like childish.
Yeah.
And but like these DC movies are supposed to appeal to, you know, like you can have a kids movie that appeals to a lot of people, like Lego Movie, for example. Or even like the old like X-Men movies, which have, you know, grittier elements to them, but like, you know, kids can watch X-Men Origins Wolverine, or such a good example.
That was just a terrible. Why would you go to that one?
You can watch like Apocalypse. Anyone can watch Apocalypse, and it's a dumb movie, but like it can appeal to different people of different ages. Like this movie can only appeal to kids, and I think that's really surprising considering that DC has gone for like the edgier, or not edgier, but it's more adult content.
How does this appeal to kids though? There's like weird geopolitical commentary about like
Cold War. Plot, like the geopolitical commentary is like the most like shallow, like
so shallow.
But the thing is though,
it's about wishes. They're making wishes.
But the thing is though,
there's a rock that grants people wishes.
No, first off,
and
Pedro Pascal
into a tiger for no reason.
She turned into a cheetah. How dare you? First off, okay, but you're talking about appealing to kids. There is like 90 minutes of nothing happening in this movie. There's the average runtime of a normal movie where nothing happens in it. What kid is gonna sit through 45 minutes of that and go, "What
little girls need a hero"?
But that ultimately leads to So I actually
look up to real historical figures when you can look up to Wonder Woman.
So okay.
Dang it.
I want to talk about a slightly controversial thing. Slightly, not really controversial, but I talked about it with Mark.
These are the words of Tyler.
I will stand by us. I will stand.
Did you not represent the thoughts and feelings of film frauds?
I will stand by.
To my lawyer, I exonerate myself from this conversation.
Yes.
I don't. These are my words. This is me. Okay. So in the first Wonder Woman movie, and I said this like exact thing to Mark, Wonder Woman as a character has individual agency, which means she has her own kind of like motivations, her own actions, her own goals, her own desires, and her own like independence in the movie. She is a legitimately strong female character in the first Wonder Woman movie. There's even that scene, probably the best scene in Wonder Woman is the wasteland sequence where she charges across and she like leads the against the trenches, and it's like actually like a really good scene. But like the start of that scene is her like ignoring like Trevor's warnings, and she's like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And that's like a strong and well-written female character because they have fully established her and everything. There is an arc in there. In this one, Wonder Woman is a reactionary character. She's a
passive character.
The plot is happening to her, not her to the plot.
It's happening exactly. None of this, like when she's like going to search for this stuff, it doesn't feel like there's any direct motivations to it. Her entire character arc is directly tied emotionally, character-wise, everything to like a male figure, which seems to betray a lot of like the successes of the first Wonder Woman movie. And it really feels like a studio interference, like nightmare, because Patty Jenkins is very clearly like the movie she made, Monster, like 2003, is like widely regarded as a great movie. The first Wonder Woman movie has really solid directing at times. We can ignore that final like third act nonsense, but like the first two act, like it's not like I rewatched it this week. It's not a awful movie. This one just feels like they didn't know they just like what are the young female audience supposed to gravitate to in this movie? Like she tries to like act like she like tries to do what she wants at the consequence, but it's like it doesn't like work in this capacity because it's thank you, Matt, for that. I don't know what you guys thought. Like, is there? It just seems
even
like so
just like
baffling
in the
to me.
fight scenes alone, she's so passive. Like when she's fighting Kita, and like Kita keeps attacking her, and he like throughout the whole movie, he's like, "I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. Listen to me. We can be friends." It's like, and then by the final fight, you want her to just punch her in the face, or something. But she's just so passive throughout the whole movie, and in every fight, it's like we can't hurt anyone. And it's like I don't want like a crazy like lunatic superhero, but I want a superhero that takes charge and is willing to hold bad guys responsible for what they're doing and like show some grit. Like very brief comparison to wrestling. The worst characters in wrestling are like the good guys that are always doing good things for no reason at all and are like and it's boring and it completely detaches you from relating to the character that they're portraying. You need good guys that have grit to them, that have a brain and stand up for themselves. And it doesn't work in movies too. You can't relate to Wonder Woman because any normal person would at some point would say like, hey, these people keep screwing me over. Like I'm done trying to be like the Jesus Christ figure for them. Yeah. It's laughable at some point because I was so tired of her constantly just saying we can't fight them, we can't do this, we can't do that. It's like why?
Yeah.
I couldn't help but feel like all the the majority of the characters in this film just felt they did not feel like characters. Like look at Kristen Wiig's character, and it's just like I'm this, the Electro character where like I'm quirky and outcast, and I represent this idea of like I'm a cool person, but like society does not like me or something. And then she's like, and it's like, be careful what you wish for. And then she's a meanie, and then
it's weird because it's like society doesn't like me, but also I'm being hit on all the time. So that there's sexist elements to it. Like it's like both sides, but neither of them are very fully developed. Like she's doing this because she's tired of being part of a what's it called, masculine society. What's patriarchy, or is she mad because she's like a reject of like her work?
That's actually a good point. Ooh, that's a nice point. It's just like
fluctuates between the two. It's like I don't know, like what.
Like again, her Kristen Wiig loses her, like she even says like, hey, you lost your kindness, like you lost all the heart, and you're like is that like that's it? You're like,
and also she can walk in heels now. That's it.
Oh, that scene where they spill the water and she like jumps up. I was like, fuck you. I was like, God damn it. It's like, you're not subtle.
Tyler stood up and clapped.
I was like, they did it.
Tyler's like, that is visual storytelling.
The only reason why is because if that would happen, I would fall and
just
then
like in
trip.
Black Hat.
Just like, Black Cat's a better movie than this. Yeah, I was waiting for that. Can we talk about the end sequence? Why did they build up the armor in this movie for it to then immediately be destroyed?
But it doesn't do anything either. Like, she's like still getting beat up by a cheetah lady.
Yeah.
Like, she only wins the fight because a random electric cord.
Why did it electrocute her in the water?
What?
They're in the water and she electrocutes her in the water and she's
because
just fine.
Zeus is her dad or something.
I mean, I understood that because she's a goddess, but like, and then again, it's like this. I was hoping that she just let Cheetah, because like it's like her last chance was, she was like, no, please, just give up right now, and this can be fine. She's like, no, and then she gets electrocuted. I was hoping like just let her fall, just let her go. Leave her.
She doesn't care. No, it's a weird. So it falls into the Batman versus Superman area where you have like, I don't want to compare it to Batman vs Superman because I think Batman vs Superman's a better movie than this. It's tough. It's just like slightly better, but you have this like main like fight between her and the fucking Pedro Pascal character Maxwell, like this main conflict, like Batman vs Superman. Whoa, and then you're introduced to a secondary antagonist, which is just meant to be the punching bag. But the fight is over in 2 minutes. It's not exciting. It's actually in the dark. It's filmed terribly, and she just plays defensive until her wings are destroyed. But why does she need wings? Because she can fly at that point. So now we're like, okay, and then they get destroyed, and then she throws her in the water and then electrocutes her. But she doesn't die because she can come back for a sequel. Don't forget about that, because now Kristen Wiig is probably like signed on for like a 3 contract kind of deal. So in Wonder Woman 3, Wonder Woman 1993
on HBO Max Plus.
On HBO Plus Max subscription
in coordination with Disney Plus.
Yeah. No, it's me, the HBO Max DC subscription. That's a special subscription. Yeah.
It makes so much. They charge that for like $60 a month. So many DC fanboys would still pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, support this conglomeration.
I don't know. There's so much. Like we have tried to, like, our Prometheus review is basically on the back of like, hey, this movie is either good or not good. Kind of like flaws and capacity the flaws of the movie are not directly related to plot hole kind of situations. And there's a lot of plot hole related flaws in this movie, but there are also just a lot of other flaws. And a lot of the other flaws are like just like bad character writing, bad directing, bad acting, like bad everything. Like I kind of dug when she's starting to fly, but it uses that score from Sunshine. I've had that score saved on my Spotify for the last 3 years. It's like a D-go and D minor or something like that, but it used it in Sunshine.
Brilliant.
I heard it and was like, oh, that's cool. But I mean, we could ask all these like little mini questions of like, how do the particles like touch everyone? And there's like the line where this person's like, I want all you Irish bastards to go back to where you came from. And it's like, I want you to drop dead. And you're like, what is this like? What are you trying to say here? Like, what's going on? Like,
wait, where did all the Irish bastards even come from? I want to know that.
Well, one's right here.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Well,
God damn you.
I think they started arresting them. So is the movie insinuating that Irish bastards originate from jail?
Whoa. Wait, am I being attacked?
Whoa. Hey.
That's what the movie says. That's what the movie says.
So can we also explore the idea that why did no one make like a good wish? Why did like you
Yeah, why everyone wish for like bombs and
everyone was like, I want nukes.
I wish this guy would shut up.
Tyler, what would you wish for?
I would wish for my death. I'd be like, all right.
Next week on Film Frauds, we're hoping to do something happier.
Yeah, that's me, Mark, and I.
Yeah.
Podcast be better.
I damn you. I don't know, but it's like one of those things. It's like, is it like weird, like subtle commentary on the fact that people are evil?
There's nothing subtle about this movie.
But okay, so this is a final like kind of point I wanted to make, and I wrote this down. This is like the worst time for this movie to come out. And the reason I mean that is because the main resolution is that Diana or Wonder Woman, whatever, convinces everyone to recant their wish in the belief that humanity is good. But it released in the middle of a global pandemic where cases are rising and people are not acting in like the greater good in any capacity. So it just feels very like tone deaf. You're just kind of watching it and you're like, no one would make these decisions. You're telling me that like 7 billion people were all just like, I want like, oh sure, I want what's best for people. Someone didn't go like, I'm going to keep a nuke in my backyard or something like that. I got into politics and you guys got scared. It feels tone deaf. Like it feels like it feels like such like a fucking Aaron Sorkin bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
resolution.
It's not the message itself that's bad, but it's the way it's delivered.
Exactly. She's like she can't touch she's like has the little lasso of truth, but it feels like that like emotional, sentimental bullshit, which is like it kind of happens in that first movie where it's like love conquers all. It's like fuck you. No, it doesn't. It's like whatever, and I don't know.
That's the dad in his room by himself in the pitch black.
I'm told like everyone chooses the best for you. Love conquers all, and my screen goes black, and I just see me. I go to bed. It's just so. I was so tired. Also, this movie's just paced horribly. Why is it 2.5 hours long? I
think, okay, well, this movie commits a lot of sins, but I think the biggest sin is when Pedro Pascal or Max Lord or whatever his name is walks into the Oval Office and there's the top secret boards are like, hello, here is a device that will do exactly what you want it to do. Or what you need.
The actor who's playing the president looked like he was just cringing the whole time. I feel like he just knew this was the worst thing ever. He's like, I played the president character, and I'm giving you the device that lets you do anything.
Yeah,
it was just so stupid. But I was talking about one good thing I like about this movie.
Oh, okay.
And that's Chris Pine.
Chris Pine's great. I like Chris Pine.
Again, I think I said this earlier. He just carries this movie as he did the first movie on his back. His scene with Pedro Pascal was the best scene of acting in the whole movie. When he has him in the arm lock, he goes, "Oh, I learned that earlier." He goes, "Oh, did you?" Like they're actually pretty funny, going off each other. I was like, why can't we have a whole movie with these two?
Yeah.
And his goodbye scene with Gal Gadot, even though it just came out of nowhere, it was so abrupt. Like, wait, is this really the last scene with these two? What do you think he did during his last hour left on Earth? He's walking around and it's like,
well, no, he didn't walk around.
He died immediately.
He died immediately.
Wait, what? I thought he was gonna die.
She walked away and she said, "I renounce my wish." And then
I actually liked.
Okay. Yeah, well, that seems really good. That seems really well acted. Even Gal Gadot is really good. Is legitimately good in that scene. I was like,
so
believe me, Chris Pine.
So there's okay. So first off, Chris Pine is the best line in this movie, and it's the most charisma when he goes like, "Well, shit, Diane." Yeah. Or Diana or whatever. And you're just like, that's so much there's so much charisma in that one line. You're like, this is great.
It was funny when he was when he's trying different costumes because it mirrors the first movie where she was the fish out of water and now he's the fish out of water.
Yeah, but the entire time I kept thinking, I was like, that's another guy's body. I couldn't get it out of my mind.
Good in those scenes that didn't really bother me. He's just really funny. He's like, whoa, what's this?
He's like, I look so cool, and she's like, no, you don't. And it's great. Mm-hmm. I like that scene where he says goodbye because his final line where he's like, I'm always going to love you or something like that is said off camera and you can hear him as he's running away. Matt laughed. Why'd you laugh, Matt?
I was thinking of the Love Conquers All. Reaction during that scene.
I was like, ugh.
That was bullshit. Not true.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
Half star.
Love Conquers All.
In the movie Letterboxd. I showed you.
And then HBO Max charges my account.
Gets 1 million subscriptions for this movie.
Yeah, it's all that emotional bullshit. I don't know. I like that scene where she runs, she's mad, and she starts to fly, and you're just like, all right, cool. And then it plays the song, and you're like, that's dope. And then you're like, she didn't fly in Justice League, but whatever.
Yeah. Do you want to just get into Hallmark scenes for this point?
Let's get this fucking thing over with. Wait, do I have anything else? I spent 30 minutes writing 2 pages of notes.
Please spare us, please.
Yeah, I really don't want to hear them.
The 80s aesthetic isn't utilized at all. They forget about it after that first scene and that one.
What are you talking? It's in the title. It's in the title. That's all you
sorry.
need.
I thought there was gonna be more of spy surveillance thing because of 1984. I was like, that has to be.
Yeah. Actually, for those who don't know, this movie is actually based on George Orwell's book.
Yeah.
This is actually the
Orson
adaptation.
Welles' book.
Wonder Woman is Winston.
Or
yeah.
George Orwell. Yeah. Yep, he's Winston. Yep, Wonder Woman is Winston. It's actually an allegory. Yeah, this movie's kind of like
actually genius, Tyler. Like Mark and I have been trolling it this whole time. Like this movie's really an A+.
I think.
Oh my God.
Like, you know, there's the Odyssey, there's the Iliad, and then there's Wonder Woman in 1984, and it's.
I think you're saying Wonder Woman first before those other two pieces of crap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this.
I mean, don't belittle Wonder Woman by putting it after the Odyssey.
Get with the times, Homer.
Yeah. It's like Wonder Woman 1984, Black Hat, and everything else is irrelevant by that point.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're it's like, I'm gonna get into movies. In the first two movies, you go to like a store and it's like Black Hat, 30 cents, because no one will buy it. And it's like Wonder Woman, half off. And you're like, I'm gonna buy them. I've never watched movies before. Do you think someone will like immediately kill themselves after watching these movies?
They probably do something productive with their lives.
Yeah, they're like, all right, this isn't worth it.
I need to do something with my life.
All right, let's fucking get to this. Not Black Hat. Hallmark scenes. Basically our favorite points, scenes, things of the movie. I guess this one will be a little hard to do. I can go first. That like highway chase scene, despite all of its flaws and all of those weird CGI inserts,
or like when Gal Gadot's clearly carrying two dolls when she rolls. That are clearly not killed because their hands are just going like this.
Yeah, exactly. Besides all those like weird inserts, there are like actually like really good like stunts in that scene. Like there's very clearly like an actual practical stunts at times and like practical
George
effects.
Miller came on set to direct that one scene.
When I was watching that scene, all I could think was like, man, I really got to rewatch Fury Road.
Yeah.
That was all I could think of.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Chris Pine is great as always, and I kind of dug Pedro Pascal. Like he's just like he's one of those actors that I'm always gonna want to watch and see.
Whoa. We're talking about Hallmark moments.
Yeah, not Hallmark actors.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. And then the goodbye they have, and where there's like, and then they leave, and then I'm like, okay.
Chris Pine, no. And he paused it on his face.
My Hallmark scene. My Hallmark scene is when Pedro Pascal turns into the stone and jizzes his pants.
My favorite scene is the scene where he's carrying the dolls. Children. No, I heard everything with. I thought it was funny when Chris Pine was walking around like the city. He's like, "Whoa, what's this? What's that?" And Gal Gadot's like, "Oh, you," things like that. I don't know. It was fine.
He didn't add to that. He was like, "Oh, Chris."
Oh, Chris, you card.
You silly goose. Yeah.
I like their reunion in the movie where it's just like, hey, I have no time. She's like, who the fuck are you? And then he slowly morphs into like a more handsome guy or whatever. And they make out in public.
I was like, that first guy's pretty handsome.
I'm like, he's pretty cool.
He's still Chris Pine.
I'm like, you know, which one do I want more? When they're staring in the mirror and it's just Chris Pine and that handsome guy, I'm like, this is my heaven. Like, oh my God.
This is the hardest choice I've ever had to make in my life.
Chris Pine's character should just carry a mirror around so we see both actors.
So I was like, to be Gal Gadot.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Tyler just muted it every time Gal Gadot talked to Chris Pine so he can respond to Chris Pine with his own words.
I'm like, I don't want to hear you speak.
Yeah.
I paused when they wake up in bed together. I paused and took a picture and put my face over Gal Gadot's face.
No, you just sit next to the TV and you're like looking at Chris
I'm
Pine.
like, oh. Do you want me to make you eggs in the morning?
Wow.
This is such a stupid movie. All right. Yeah. What's the next part? Mark's sleepy time moments.
Sleepy time moments.
Black Cat. Oh, okay, yeah.
They're not
I don't
like.
think I have any sleepy time moments. Let's just go right to Black Cat moments.
All right, Black Cat moments. Black Cat moments are like the worst moments of the movie. Even though Black Cat's a great movie. You know, whatever.
That's not the official film fraud stance.
I'm sorry.
That's not the official film.
Officially, it's an F.
Yeah.
I hate all of you. All right, Black Cat moments. Let's go through this. The movie.
Just the scene where the kid's like walking around and like he's just in no man's land for no reason, and he's like talking to and like Oberyn Martell can speak to him, and it's like what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest black hat element for me, it just unequivocally is the White House the Oval Office scene. Yeah. I was just like, when I saw the boards, I was like, oh, please don't do this. Please
don't. Like, please don't. It's like, what is that? I want access.
Good boy, just don't do this.
You know what? We're gonna see a whole new wave of why Wonder Woman 1984 is a complete cinematic failure. We're gonna get a whole new wave.
We're basically like one step away from titling our videos like that, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah. We should put that as a title. That's the official title of this video.
Why Wonder Woman is the worst movie ever to exist.
Objectively.
Wonder Woman 1984's existence pisses us off, and here's why.
I could go just like those moments where they're like hyping up the suit. They're like, look at the suit. And you're like, okay, that's gonna be cool. And then the suit explodes, and you're like, okay, like I'm glad we spent time with that.
It's funny. That's just funny because it's funny. Or whatever. Yeah, it's funny. They're like, this is like what the suit that my mother used to like stop all of humanity, and then like a cat just rips it apart in 3 minutes.
It's not her mother. It wasn't her mother.
Oh, it was like
it's like another oh my god, I almost said autism. Austere or whatever.
I almost said autism.
Austere. Did you guys watch the mid-credit scene?
No.
I heard that. It was like some character.
There's a fucking mid-credit scene with Linda Carter who legitimately saves a woman like a beam and then looks at the camera and is like, I've been doing this for a long time, and then she winks. Because she was Wonder Woman in like the 70s show.
Tell him, fuck you.
Fuck you. I look at like 2.5 hours gone by my life. I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Todd took his new soundbar. He started bashing.
He's completely naked.
I'm like, Chris Pine is gone for too long. I'm blue ball.
He's like the apes in It's 2001: A Space Odyssey. He's snatching.
No, we killed Mark.
Just broke Mark.
I'm just imagining him, butt naked with his new soundbar and just beating his TV.
Chris Pine was only in an hour and a half of this.
Love does not prevail.
It's bullshit.
It's like in slow motion. And for some reason, the movie glitches on a picture of Chris Pine on the TV. Chris Pine, thank you. Then it just completely blacks out. It goes,
no, how dare they? Oh, god damn it!
And then he sits at his computer and he writes his 5th fan letter to Michael Mann of the day. He's like,
why is Chris Pine?
Michael, I had a really bad day today. I saw it 1984.
What the fuck are we even talking about? Black Hat.
Yeah. All right, grades.
We grade stuff on an ABCDF scale. No plus or minuses. This review is just fucking chaotic. Mark, what do you give Wonder Woman 1984?
It's a D-, but I give it an F.
Wait, what?
It's a D-. It's an F.
It's an F. Okay. Matt,
did I cut out?
No, you're good.
I'm gonna give it a D because Chris Pine.
He's D.
Yeah.
Chris Pine couldn't save it.
I'm also gonna give it a D. I don't think it's like an F movie. I don't think it's like the worst thing to ever exist. There are moments.
I mean, Black Hat does exist, so that's kind of proof.
I hate both. I hate you
That's
guys
right.
so much.
That's right.
But yeah, it's just not like a good movie. Like, it's just not in any capacity. And it seems like the general public is kind of on boat with this one. That they're just like, what the fuck was that? If you look at any like Twitter comment, they're like, so Wonder Woman was a movie. And you're like, okay.
Oh, that old comment.
Yeah, you're like, all right, calm down, bud. You're good. Instead, listen to our 50-minute video where half of it's you guys making jokes about me being naked with Chris Pine, which is worth it.
Smashing your TV.
Smashing my TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was our Wonder Woman 1984 review. Now we're gonna get into our. I'm glad I got a new mic just so it can pick up my coughs even better.
Yeah. I think, does it give us Corona like through the mic?
Yeah, and just okay. I do what Pedro Pascal does in that movie. Where
right.
I give it to you guys.
Yeah.
So what we've been watching this week, we were just talking about stuff that we've read, watched, played, drunk, Snorted. I don't know anymore. I keep making that joke, and I'm tired of it myself. All right, Mark. What movies did you watch this week?
So I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which I've already talked about with you guys. Not as good as I remember, but still good.
Talk about it with me first.
Yeah, I talked about that first. Matt, guess what I watched next?
What did you watch next?
Midnight in Paris.
Yes, what did you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. It was amazing.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah. I started talking about this with Tyler before the call, but just like the giddy excitement of seeing Owen Wilson like walk into a pub and see like Ernest Hemingway and like Scott Fitzgerald, you're like, oh my god! You're kind of just like freaking out on the inside. The movie captures like this really interesting feeling. I thought it was just fantastic.
I love the take on nostalgia. I thought all that was really great.
Yeah.
And even the stuff like during the modern day stuff is really funny too, like with him dealing with his conservative in-laws and stuff. That was really funny. But yeah, the heart of it, like you can just tell Woody Allen cares so much about all these great artists, and I'm glad you liked it because I hyped the movie up so much that
Yeah, it lived up to it. There's a scene that was a standout for me.
I love F. Scott.
Scott
S. Font Fitzgerald.
Oh, God damn it.
One of the scenes I loved was when on the second night in Paris, Owen Wilson gets into the carriage and it's Ernest Hemingway's in there.
Yeah.
And there's like that part where Ernest Hemingway like he starts talking about him being in the war, and the way he talks is exactly like his prose, where it's like the brief sentences. Like I think Hemingway had the iceberg theory, where like you say brief stuff, but everything else is packed underneath.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's basically what Woody Allen like perfectly captured in that scene.
Who plays Hemingway in this movie?
He's like the
villain
guy
in Ant-Man.
from House of Cards.
And the bald guy
Corey
from
Stoll, yeah.
Ant-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, he was awesome. And same with Tom Hiddleston and
F. Scott
Adrian Brody.
Marion Cotillard's
a
in this
rhinoceros.
movie?
Yeah. Dali.
I see a rhinoceros.
Yeah, and then there's Gertrude Stein. Like, Matt, imagine if like Gertrude Stein like looked over your book.
I have to cut that now.
I like the scene where Owen Wilson's like, he's like, will you read my book? And then Hemingway's like, my opinion is I hate it. And then he's like, you haven't read it yet. And he's like, well, if it's bad, I'll hate it because I hate bad writing. If it's good, I'll hate it because I'm envious, and I'll hate it all the more.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And he's like, declare yourself the best writer, unless I'm here, and unless you want to put on the gloves and settle it. Which is it was awesome.
I wonder if Ernest Hemingway actually did boxing. It seems like he would probably have done that.
Hemingway?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Probably.
Him and Fitzgerald often would kind of like fight in boxing rings, and then Fitzgerald would get the shit kicked out of him, and then that caused a lot of their like emasculation. Fitzgerald's like emasculation issues and stuff like that. It's all in Zelda Fitzgerald's biography, which I have read. You're welcome. I have read a book.
I gotta read that.
It's good.
I read a book.
I read a book. You're welcome, guys. Yeah. Mark, what else did you watch?
I watched It's a Wonderful Life, which is just amazing.
Wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And then I watched Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which is directed by and stars Jimmy Stewart, just like It's a Wonderful Life. So I recommend both those movies. Have you seen any of those, Matt?
It's a Wonderful Life. I have.
You gotta watch them.
We watched It's a Wonderful Life in our junior year religion class, Mark.
We did?
Yes, we did.
Mark was playing Hearthstone.
I probably was. I was like, why am I gonna watch this black and white movie? Like, this is stupid.
Here you go. Both of yours $20 for a lottery ticket.
Wait, I was probably like, why should I care what these people in the black and white movie say? They're all dead anyway. That's probably what I thought. That's probably what I thought. Stupid me. And then I've been reading War and Peace. I finished volume 1. It's amazing. Yeah, that's it. I've been reading another book, History of Western Philosophy. Also amazing. And that's me.
I'm proud of you, Mark. All right, Matt, you're going last this time. So I watched
Ready or Not, a horror comedy that came out in 2019. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Is it good?
Yeah.
wow.
It's like surprisingly really fun.
Oh wow.
It's like a dark. It's like a dark horror. It's like a horror comedy kind of movie, and
Comedy.
What?
A homedy.
Yeah,
Or
a
core.
Or no, a core.
Yeah.
A comorority. As the intellectuals call it. But it's
this review is the worst fucking review we've ever done.
so yeah, Ready Not. It's a comorority that stars Samara Weaving, who's also in Guns Akimbo and Mayhem, which I think she's pretty bad in Guns Akimbo. I think she's decent in Mayhem, but she's like really, really good in this movie. And I don't want to go too much spoilers because like I didn't know anything about the movie going into it, and I found a lot of the twists to be pretty cool. But basically, like he has to go with his family and play hide and seek, and he should play a game with them, and she draws hide and seek, which is like the 1 in a million card where like they have to like hunt you down in the house and kill you, like the rich family. And it's like pretty absurd. Like it takes like a couple minutes. It takes like a good like 15 minutes to get into it, but like once like the action starts, it kind of reminds me a lot of You're Next. Except like You're Next is only good like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, this movie's like good for like a good like hour and a half.
Oh really? Okay, so if I like the last 15 minutes of You're Next, I'll like this movie then.
Yes, it's on HBO Max.
Ooh.
And it's leaving this month, so you should like if you want to watch it, like I'd recommend doing it soon because like it's hour and a half, so it's super breezy, but like it's really cared by the lead performance and like things that kind of absurd like towards the end, but like you care about her character so much and having her survive that it really works. And like a lot of the humor and a lot of the gore like isn't cringeworthy as like you'd expect like a modern like horror comedy to be. Like it actually feels like a throwback to like older movies. I also saw Die Hard on Christmas Eve. And yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. Mark, what do you think of Die Hard?
I think it's Die Hard is a movie.
Mark, how many times have you seen it?
I saw it. I've seen it.
Mark trying to think of a joke.
I'm trying. I'm really trying here. I was like, my gut reaction was saying,
I've always circle back to you, and then you let us know. But yeah, John McTiernan, Bruce Willis. I watched Hard Kill a couple weeks ago, where it's like the most recent Bruce Willis movie. He doesn't care clearly, but like it's great to see like him be so charismatic in a movie. And the guy, like the blonde terrorist guy, is like phenomenal. Like rewatching him, like he steals every scene he's in. He's really great, and obviously, you know, Hans Gruber, classic villain. And, yeah. If you haven't seen it, you know, or like, are you really like a fan of movies?
Yeah.
So, Mark, what's the joke?
Yeah.
I've seen Die Hard -1 times.
Oh my god. We have to give him an award. I'm so proud of you.
That's like.
All right, and next.
Yeah. I also watched so you know, film is amazing because of how like diverse of like pretty much anything with the film. Like there's such a wide variety of what constitutes a movie. Because I watched Wonder Woman, 1948, 1984, and Patterson.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man.
Woo woo.
But yeah, Patterson is the Adam Driver, Jim Jarmusch movie where he's just a poet and he's a bus driver, and it's very quaint and like it was just very. It's not like I don't like it as much as Midnight in Paris, but it's like another like comfort movie where it's like it's like there's not a lot of conflict. It's just like a guy and he's kind of an aspiring poet. You know, you never really know if he wants to actually like publish his stuff, but like he likes to do it on his own. And it's just like a really like nice, like pleasant movie to watch. And he's like that Adam Driver is a good actor. Yeah. And it's a good refresher after watching Wonder Woman 1984.
It's
not
probably
because Tyler, you've seen it. You recommended it to me. That's why I watched it.
It's honestly like your comfort movie for Midnight in Paris is why I love it so much, is because it's just like I view it as such like an amazing movie about like the inspiration of creativity and how that just wakes you up every day. But it's also just really refreshing seeing like the most like wholesome relationship like ever. Like there's no conflict in it. He's like an amazingly like supporting like husband in the movie. And it's just like this wonderful dynamic of like exploring like a small town. And you're just like, this is just so like peaceful. And it's just like, and again, the biggest conflict of the movie, spoilers, like 3, 2, 1 is a dog eats a notebook. Like, that's it. Like, and it's not even like treated like a big deal. He comes in, he's like, oh. And then he just keeps going, and he's just like dejected for like a little bit. He wakes up like 30 minutes late. And you're like, he woke up 30 minutes late. What is he going to do? And I don't know.
I didn't know that William Carlos Williams was born in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Like, we could conceivably drive there and just be like, hey, like, this is what movie was filmed.
Look, that's where he drove a bus around a corner. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I liked like because Jim Jarmusch is obviously a writer director, so he knows a lot about this stuff. So I like, like getting his, like, you can kind of get like some of his thoughts.
Yeah.
On writing as well. In the scene where he's talking to the young girl who's like an inspiring poet, like, it's just so many like just pleasant scenes.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they go, that was a good movie.
Yeah, and then you just go to bed happy that night. You're just like, I watched something good. Yeah, I'm glad you watched it.
Yeah, I also finished Penny Dreadful for the third time. No one cares, so I'll move on. I am also watching The Expanse season 5.
Ooh.
Which is on HBO. I mean, it's on Amazon Prime now, and it's like, man, this is like such a good show. It's like this.
Don't spoil it because that's book 5, and I haven't read book 5 yet.
Okay. I won't spoil anything. But everyone does.
No.
But like, it's like this crazy. It's like the perfect combination of boring Star Trek and like dumb Star Wars, where it's like there's a lot of good action in it, but it's also intelligent. It's kind of like the Game of Thrones of space, because there's all these different factions, and they all have like reasonable, motivations and moves, and it's like, and like the sci-fi behind it is fairly graspable. Is that a word, graspable?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just fun because like all the characters have clear motivations and you relate to all of them, and it's like a show that is 5 seasons in, and I still like it as much as I did back when I first started in season 1. And I think if you like sci-fi, you're looking for intelligent sci-fi, The Expanse is probably perfect because it's it definitely treats its audience with respect. And Jeff Bezos likes it clearly because he's the only one who saved it.
Well, I'm glad you like it so much, Matt. I'm proud of you.
Are you watching Expanse show, Tyler?
I watched like the first season of it, and then I got
Were you doing a series on film frauds, or are you The Expanse?
We could also be doing a series of PTA ranked, but
Yeah, well, I mean, you just want to feel like, but I mean, Mark's never gonna watch them, so I'm not gonna watch them either.
Mark told me, he's like, I'm gonna try to get my brothers to watch Inherent Vice with me. How's that going, Mark? Yeah, pretty great. I know.
The plan is still in the works.
Bastard. Okay, so I'll go quick because no one cares.
How's the Smog video coming out?
Let's go. Oh, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. I'll get that done. I watched
Peter Jackson is waiting for it.
I watched Michael Clayton, which is a 2007 political thriller with George Clooney. And I was like, this movie's kind of really great. George Clooney is really awesome. And there's a line in the movie that he says, I'm Sheba, the god of death, and it feels just natural. Cool. So I was like, that's cool. Matt, I watched LA Confidential.
Yeah.
LA Confidential is great. I watched As Good as It Gets, the 1997 Jack Nicholson romantic comedy, and it's like offensively bad. Jack Nicholson is like 60.
As bad as it gets.
Dude, that's like the title.
That's like you just blew my mind. I gotta write the director.
Whoa, holy crap. That is incredible.
I know.
I don't even know how I did that.
You just broke my mind. Yeah,
wow.
it's pretty bad. I don't know why it was nominated for Best Picture, and it was definitely one of those movies that's an era of its time. Like it was supposed to be a comedy in 1997, and a lot of the humor is just not funny anymore. I watched the Kevin James MMA.
Speaking of not funny.
Speaking of not funny. So it's Here Comes the Boom, where it's basically like a family-friendly warrior. Where he has to fight MMA. And
How
Kevin
many times
James,
do they play Here Comes the Boom in the movie?
He does, yes.
How many times?
It's his like walk-in song every single time. And there's even a scene in the movie where the other guy he's fighting is using the same song. So then he comes out to Neil Diamond, and it's supposed to be funny because it's Neil Diamond.
Is it Sweet Caroline?
No, I wish they did. So that was actually something I commented while watching it because the movie's set in Boston. I'm like, they fucking missed.
What?
I was like, they missed the perfect fucking place to put it. Because there's even a joke where Henley Winkler's like, it's Neil Diamond. He's great. He gets me pumped up. Like, you had the fucking opportunity to do Sweet Caroline, like the iconic Boston song. I was like, that's a fucking idiot. Kevin James got like kind of like really muscular for this movie. Like he like legitimately like he's an actual like he trains MMA and stuff like that. And it kind of shows because there are times where he's trying to like dumb himself down. So it looks like he's like learning, and he actually like looks really good at it. They have some jujitsu in the movie. I was like, it's fucking dope.
Wait, did you do jujitsu?
No, I don't actually at all. It's good to know. But yeah, I watched that, and then I watched Good Will Hunting. Mark's fell asleep. I watched Good Will Hunting, and this movie made me cry. Like I cried last night, and I was like, okay, that's great. And movies don't often make me cry. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I can't critique this movie in any capacity. It's just one of those things that just makes me happy to watch, despite the fact that I was like a blubbering mess for like 8 minutes at a certain point. So yeah, Good Will Hunting. Just 8 minutes right now. Yeah, that's about as long as I could last. So
fake fan,
yeah. And that's basically having like, well, speaking about Boston, this is actually like having Boston as a character. It's like, I think I know where that is, and then he goes like wicked spot. And you're like that's cool, yeah. I'll go. I'm like, okay, I gotta go to Boston.
Wait, I have a poop appointment in 5 minutes.
There's a scene where there's a scene where Will Hunting and Robin Williams are talking about the fact that Robin Williams' like wife used to fart in her sleep, and I laughed and farted. So I feel like I'm Robin Williams' wife in that movie. So yeah,
you're just a ball of tricks.
I'm just a ball of tricks. I'm also I'm 19 hours into Ghost of Tsushima, and it's like really great, and I'm getting like really good at the game, and it feels really cool to be like and like just like massacring people. It's kind of fun.
You need to get good at life.
I am not good at life, and I stand by that. Oh. All right, guys, this was a chaotic review. It doesn't matter anymore. Who cares? It's Wonder Woman. Mark, Matt, what's our call to action we're doing next week?
Like, comment, subscribe. You probably won't after watching this video, but whatever. Check out our other reviews because they're good. We're also on Spotify, YouTube. Probably watching this on YouTube, iTunes as well. And then Mark is doing his director's series.
Yeah,
it is.
And
that's 12 Angry Men,
directed by Zack Snyder.
Yep. Zack Snyder ghost directed it before he was born.
Yep. Good to know. So Zack Snyder's doing wait, actually, like I got lost in the joke. I wasn't paying attention. What are we doing next week? What's going on?
You know what? You'll figure it out when you look back.
Yeah, next week you'll figure it out.
Okay, when I show up the next video, I'll be like, what did we watch, guys? Okay. All right.
We're doing a House Jack built.
Oh right, yeah. Yep.
I'm not fucking doing House of Jackville. I refuse. That's the one movie I don't want to watch it, and I won't
be there and do it.
Listen, you guys know how to record. You guys are big boys. You can do it.
Our first film fraud's paycheck. We're gonna do House of Jackville.
No, we aren't. I will legitimately sit out of that one.
You'll be there.
No, I won't. You can't. You
the house that Matt and Mark built. Film frauds.
Because it's like our names, but like without Jack in it.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
The only way I'm watching The House of Jack built and coming for this is if you physically force me to, and we both know that you don't want to be anywhere near me. So,
what if I retroactively give Black Hat an A if you're?
I don't care. I don't care. I give Black Hat an F. I can stand with it.
He's gonna have like a bad day with the students. He's gonna come home. He's like, "Let's watch House of Jack built."
I need to feel something. All right, this was a very exhausting episode. Hopefully we can never have to review another comic movie again. Yeah, I kind of hope so. Mark's just done. Matt's done. We're all done. Film frauds. We're ending 2020 on a good note too. Our next episode will be 2021. Good job, guys. We did it.
Yeah, but it'll be a good starter episode.
It'll be a good starter episode. That's right. All right, guys. Hey, guys, for watching. Comment. I'm your favorite because I'm the funniest. And just picture me I hate all of you so much. All right, and thank you guys for watching. I get the